Welcome to Feature Friday, where we explore all the cool functions of our Roof Wizard software. And today I'm going to look at how we define fixtures. The process requires a figure which represents the figure that will the fixture that will be used on our roof model. And then once we've defined the graphic, we then define the fixture. So let's show you how we would first design a graphic. So I've decided I'm going to design a graphic for a roof vent as an example. So I'm going to draw a rectangle to represent our roof vent, and the origin of the roof vent will be at 0, 0, and the size of it, let's make it say 500 by 500. And because I'm normally drawing roofs, that looks a little small, so we just scroll in to see what's going on. And I don't know, I just feel like maybe I'll have a line, a diagonal line across there. This is a symbol that somebody might choose to use to represent our roof vent. I might also stick a circle in it just for fun, and I want the circle to be exactly in the middle. So this is just using standard CAD functions. So if I move my cursor up to the CAD option, I get an option here for Inline. And using the Inline function, I can select the intersection between two lines. Currently, no point exists there. So I've got to create one by getting the intersection of two lines. So I'm getting an intersection between that line and that line. My point has appeared, and now when I right click, it says, right, how big do you want the circle? And I'm going to say about that. But now I think, well, those lines are a little bit thin, so maybe I could make them a bit fatter. And if I go to CAD, Edit, Change Lines, and I'll make the lines say 0.5, and OK. And the 0.5 relates to the old tube nib pens, if you're old enough to remember back that far, but it's 0.5 of a millimetre. Let's change the size of our circle too, so you get the drift of it. Inline menu, as you were, CAD, Edit, Change, Circle, and I'll make that a big old fat line, and hit OK, select the circle, and it's now changed. So that's my new fancy symbol for my roof vent. Now what I have to do, now I have to save this as a figure. Currently I've got no database or model saved, so I've got to save this as a figure so that it can be used later to illustrate my roof vent. I'll go to File, Subfigure, Save As, select the Fixtures database and give it a name, and I'm going to call this roof vent. This is going to be a variation on my original use roof vent. That's a special one, and I'm going to call it 5001. I've already got a 500, so I've got a 501 now. So Fixtures is the database name, and the subfigure name is that. Hit OK. So it says now I've got a database of fixtures, figures, roof vent 5001. Okay, so that's the graphic that I wish to use. So I go File, New. Now it's just a matter of Setup, Fixtures. So in here it wants to know my fixture name. Just to be consistent so it all makes sense, I'm going to call it Roof Vent 5001. What's the updated version? It's from Bill's Vents. The product code should be a Bill's Vent 5001, differentiated from the 500. Now, the category, this would just come up in general fixtures and fittings and general accessories. But if I want it to be specifically applied to when I do a quotation for the roofing, I want it to be included in the roofing category, so I give it the roofing category name. If you don't do that, it just comes up as a general list. But because I'm filling out an existing one, an existing fixture that is, it already has some flashings there, but I don't want flashings because this comes with all its flashing requirements. So I just have delete, and I can delete the first one or the third one, but I'll just work my way down the list and delete that, the first one there, I'm going to delete that one, and I'm going to delete the next one as well. But then you might want to add a flashing. I might want to add an apron flashing that goes around this thing. So that's the flashing I really want, and to go around the whole of this I'm going to need 2 meters of apron. The thing to remember when you apply a flashing, when you define a flashing, if those flashings require special accessory items, screws, clips, sealants, brackets, whatever, all those accessories come through with the flashing, so that when you select this fixture, you get the fixture, the flashing, and the flashing accessories. So it completes the circle. Now this is going to be what type of graphic? So it will be a scalable graphic, a fixed size as I've designed it, or I can define it as a parametric box or a parametric cylinder. And that's just for creating different types of fixture items. Refer to the help files for more details on that, but for our purposes, we're going to use a fixed size and use the size of our graphic. It's the fixture from the fixtures database, and the name of the fixture will be my roof vent 5001, and hit OK. And so now I have my graphic, the fixture name, the cost of it, let's say it's $650, expensive, must be gold plated, and the cost to install $25. The insertion method, well, you can do a point only, or location and an orientation point, so you can orient it basically in any direction you want, or insert it along a line, or get it to snap to 90 degrees. I'm just going to go point only because it's a single item. The next question is whether I want to create a hole or not. So if you were doing an access hatch, you might like to remove the material from underneath because it's extra roof area that you won't be putting roofing on. But you might say no to that because this is just going to be somewhere on the roof, I don't know where. Or I can get the software to ask the question, do you want a hole? So I'm going to say no to that. The next thing is whether the orientation relative to the roof. So if I say vertical, it will just stick it on the construction plane, and in plan view it just looks where it's supposed to be, but it's actually on the construction plane. Alternative to that is pitched, where it actually spins it around and rotates it so that it's oriented to the pitch of the roof. You can also select a PDF document which describes this fixture. If you have a library of PDFs which describe use or implementation or installation of your fixture item, you can select that PDF document and it will be printed as a bunch of the reports. So at this point, if I was changing something already defined, I'd hit update. I check that I've got all the flashings I want, so I don't need to add any more. So I'm going to add this as a brand new fixture, and I hit add, and it's now added. So I've got 49 of 49, and I hit OK, and that's defined. So now let's apply it to our roof. So let's pull up a roof shape. You might recognize this from the first installment of this Feature Friday. No, I'll keep the outline, the 2-degree pitch, yep, and pitching line will be along that eave, and continue when it builds our roof. And now we go to cover, fixtures, find our roof vent. There's our roof vent 5001, and I want one there, and I want one there, and one down there, whatever, and close that. And when I zoom in, you'll see there's the graphic that represents my fixture. But more importantly, when I go to reporting, supply only, and I'll save this away and give it an address, whatever the address is, and OK. I'm going to combine all my estimating stages, and I haven't done the roof sheets yet, I'll do them later. And I don't need to add anything else. Continue, and there's my 4 roof vents, and they're in the category of roofing, so when I do my my quotation, it will be in the category of roofing, and they're $650 each as I've specified. So that's the process. Any questions, give us an email, or drop the guys a call. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. We put out a Feature Friday just about every Friday. And so if you want to learn more about the use of our software, subscribe and we'll let you know when the next one pops up. That's it for Feature Friday for this week. Have a great weekend and we'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.